if you're fated mates with a Were Alpha, there's worse fates in the world, is all I'm saying. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my god, I thought I kicked my cat, but it's just a box of my craft supplies. Hey girl, hey, and welcome back to my channel. I thought today we could do our first ever reading recap. Melly and Anorexia might join us with some animal noises. I have my 3 liquids, my caffeine, my electrolytes, and my hydration. So we're good to go. It's officially April. Spring has sprung in the south at least. I thought, why not maybe do our first recap and we'll just do a Q1 recap. I've never had a job where I refer to quarters, so I keep calling this Q1 more just like as a metric of time, not because there's not like a time frame in my mind. So if it's triggering, I'm sorry. It's not for me. You can read more about these books and my thoughts on my Substack. I have finished 21 books so far this year. I'm in a reading slump, so I have spent a lot of time reading, but I actually haven't finished a single book with my eyeballs. I keep like putting them down or just like waiting or switching to audio. And so all of these were audiobooks. So yeah, do with that information what you will. The first book I finished this year was also my first 5-star of the year. And that would be none other than the legend that is Alchemized by Sen-Lin Yu. I have not read Manacled. I do have it on my Kindle. I think I will read it. My sister-in-law, who was into Manacled like early on, always told me I probably wouldn't like it because it's too rapey. And then she said Alchemized was less rapey, so I would like it. And now like understanding the full scope of it, I'm like, okay, I'd be interested to go back and read the more rapey version. Can you say rapey on YouTube? I loved it. I was unsure what it was. I remember like I kept going into Belinda's room and telling her how devastated I was with the book, but that I hadn't cried. She's like, oh, you cried? I was like, no, I'm not crying. And then 2 things made me cry basically in the last act. There were 2 like little things, but because of all the feels that had built up over the first 1,000 pages, they broke me. You don't have to read Manacled to understand it. There's like a weird religion thing in it and magic system that like you understand enough to understand it, and then if not, I just didn't worry about it. I was like, that's not what this book's about. She had to make it. The only thing I will say is knowing from the beginning that the premise of Manacled is it's a, what do they call them? I'm obviously not a fanfic girly. Not because like I'm against it, I just haven't gotten into it. But like it's if the Death Eaters had won the war. Just knowing that like this new leader is like a Voldemort equivalent, and it's like the Death Eaters sorts of people that are ruling it, and like knowing that helped me understand the gravitas of the situation from the beginning. Because I have, 30 years of investment in that world. My second book enters my romantasy audiobook, Disassociation. I was still working. Remember when I was employed? Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry, I gave 4 stars. I loved it. Previously, I'd only read her Eden series. Actually, and I've read like at least one of her Willa Nash books. So she also writes under the name Willa Nash, and it's like her son's names. And there's like a 3-part spicy holiday novella, and I read like 1 or 2 of them. But then for the Eden series, I loved Indigo Ridge and Juniper Hill, and then I hated Garnet Falls and Jasper Vale. I just thought was meh. Like I know I have 2 more left in that series, and I want to go back to them. And I kind of just fear that like the brothers' books are better than the sisters' books. I like her books because there's no 3rd act breakup, but it was going downhill and I was like, I don't need to keep reading. Like I can just hold Indigo Ridge and Juniper Hill in my heart and move on. But then this was her first like dip into fantasy, and I was really curious and I was floored. Like I was so amazed. I think it really shows her talent in a way that's probably underappreciated in her other realms. I feel like a lot of times contemporary romances, and especially like small town romances, can be like minimized by the masses and by men and misogynistic women. But I also think sometimes when they get so repetitive, like it's easy to be like, oh, that's what she writes and it's good, like whatever. And especially like when you stop liking the books, it's rough. So this was fun to like, I feel like flex her pen game in a different way. Anyway, I really liked it. I've randomly found myself thinking about it a lot recently, and I've read a lot of romantasy this spring and winter, so it means something that this is the one that stuck with me. And I'm really excited to continue with this world. And then I listened to The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros. It's so good. It was my second 5-star of the year. It's It's a coming of age like collection of short stories. I really enjoyed it. I think the audiobook narrator sometimes like she kind of like had a juvenile voice because a lot of it was about writing in different voices, and like usually that would annoy me, but it was like written so well that it didn't annoy me hearing an adult read a kid's voice. Oh, also the introduction is so good. I can't remember if Sandra reads it in the audiobook or not, but she just talks about like her experience writing. I think coming up through school and higher education for creative writing, and the like intent and voice and like the stories to tell. Like I found that really inspiring, and it's a lot about how to find your voice as a writer. To read my own review, she handles the objectification of growing from a girl to a woman brilliantly, and all the blessings and burdens that come along with it. Yeah, I stand by that. Basically, like, there's a lot of, like, it's just like awareness of your body and like the way people interact and view you and other girl and women's bodies. I think it's like a modern classic now. Like I think they read it in schools, but I've never read it. Then I listened to Bound by Ali Hazelwood, who I love. It was a vampire novella. It was fun. I only gave it 3 stars though, and like normally I think Ali Hazelwood is the queen of the novellas, and I really do think she packed so much into this, which made it better. But like she kind of set up a whole new world, and I'm like, girl, you already have a vampire universe that like I'm invested in. I read Bride, I've read Mate. Why couldn't you just like make it there and not have to do world building in a novella? That being said, I enjoyed it. I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. It's like a fun little whatever. I think if you're an Ali Hazelwood fan, read it. If not, read it, but like don't let that be your judge of if you're gonna be an Ali Hazelwood fan. I am a diehard Ali Hazelwood fan. I wrote a Substack called Dear Ali, and it's when she was bullied off Instagram for having a funny moment at PETA's expense, and the Hunger Games don't come for me. I'm new to the internet. I love Ali Hazelwood. Point blank. I met her in person. I was there release night of Check and Mate, and I made her personalized friendship bracelets, and I made one for each of her books that had been released to that point. But I was like so nervous when I met her. I just like was like, I made these for you, and I like threw it. She was like sitting at a table like this, you know, signing books and like talking, and like we're going through, and I just like threw them on the table. And I was like, I made these for you.
Bracelets and so
and she was like, oh my god, wait, they're so cute. And like she goes and she's like reading them all the time, and I was just like sitting there like, Anyway, love her. Then I listened to Psycho Fae by Jasmine Moss, and I gave it 3 stars. It's the second book in the Cruel Shifter series. So the first one is called Psycho Shifters, and I loved that book. I got an arc of the audio book, or an audio galley, whatever. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. It was so spicy. I definitely think this is romantic-y. Like, romance and, like, angst is, like, a main point of it. But then the world building and, like, the fantasy element is also so interesting. Like, it's one of the few where I'm just as invested in the smut. And, like, this is smut. It's not even romance, per se. And the fantasy world. And, like, it is truly romantic. Like, they're equal greatness, equal parts. But that being said, this girl, her virginity is like a boomerang, and she can't get rid of it no matter how hard she tries to throw it away. So it's a little annoying, like the slow burn of it. Like, this girl, it's been 2 books, and she has like, she went from like 1 to like 5 men now, and it's kind of like a wide choose or just like a open thing, poly thing, I don't know. But she still hasn't done the deed technically, and I'm like, it's just a lot of angst. It's a very explicit book to not have that much actual spice on the page. I don't know how to describe it. I only gave this one 3 stars though, because I was like, okay, can we get to the point or like move the plot along a little more? I don't know. I think this one also, you'll see, I've read 2 other Jasmine Moss books this year, and I think this one also had like a gladiator game component to it, and I'm just like, that's just so not my thing. Then I listened to Seduce Me at Sunrise by Lisa Kleypas. Kleypas, I don't know. I fuck with Lisa. I gave it 3 stars. I said, scratched an itch, but V mediocre. New favorite, grand gesture unlocked. Oh! This man. I don't even remember, but I do remember she wants him and he wants her, and he ain't doing nothing about it. So finally, he pulls up his big boy britches and he does something about it. And it was wild. It was out of pocket. It actually doesn't make any sense, but it was camp. I think. And like it was so funny and so like, well fine, if I have to do this, I'm gonna do this. I did really enjoy that element of it. I think I got frustrated because it was like a whole like, oh, we can't be together because like you deserve better. I think that's why it's only 3 stars. And then I did one of the most unhinged things I've done in 2026, which is, mind you, the year that I moved back in with my parents without a job. I listened to The Hunger Games in audiobook, but then I listened to it so fast, I was so obsessed with it, I was like, I gotta start Catching Fire right away. So I listened to both The Hunger Games and Catching Fire in one day. And if that isn't mental stability, I don't know what is. They're both 5 stars. They both hold up. I have not reread either of those books since middle school. I remember Catching Fire being the best book in the series. It was my favorite. It was all my friends' favorite. It was my brother's favorite. We were all like, oh my god, it's the best thing I've ever read. But I actually didn't really remember that much of it. Like, I remembered a couple of visuals maybe from the film, but like that was it. It's so good. It's the best thing ever written. Oh my god, I can't believe it. And so then I was like trying to figure out, because I haven't read any of the new ones. I was like, should I read the prequels first or should I read these and then the prequels? Like, what should I do? I don't even think I've seen either Mockingjay film or Songbird. Based on Reddit, like if you've already read it before, like maximum emotional damage would be Hunger Games, Catching Fire, both prequels, and then Mockingjay. So then that way you get the full emotional of the war. I just remember not liking Mockingjay. It's like I wasn't like racing to do it. Although the way Catching Fire ends, how did I not remember that? How did I not remember so much? And then the is so good. It's so good. So then I started listening to ballads of songbirds and snakes or whatever bullshit. And it's so, I can't do it. I can't do it. Why is the longest one 100% in Cornelius, is that his name? Snow's mind?
Get me out of there. It's miserable. Snow always lands on top.
He's a horrible, horrible person.
And we know that there's no redemption for him. His villain origin story starts before the villain origin story. It's like, I don't understand the literally page 1, I don't like him. I understand you can grow up in a world where the neighbors are so poor that when they're serving God, this is fun. This happens in like chapter 2. They're also like, the universe is receiver, and now he saw the world of his dead servant. So now he is serving meat to eat. And the serving God is starvation because he had no food. And then, using that as justification to treat people the same way. No, I'm sorry, it's ew. I'm reading it. I'm so sorry, I don't need to. I got somebody dangerous for it. But I would met the girl, right, who that's all her name gets on or whatever, and the if you know, you know. But no, I just wanted to her point of view.
I mean, I don't think it ends happy for her, right? To be determined on how I continue this series. I kind of wish I could just download it into my brain and be done with it. I don't want to experience it. It really disgusts me being in his mind and like to be in his, like I'm not going to have empathy for him. And I don't understand the point. Like, is it worth it? Please tell me if it's worth it, if I should do it. I don't know. Like, I just like it's so prescient right now, right? Like I whatever. Is saying right now after prescient redundant? I don't know. Then I listened to my best friend Nancy and I listened to the Book of Azrael. I gave it 4 stars. She was right. That is one of her god tier books. I understand it. I'm not obsessed with it the way some people are, but I appreciate how good it is and like I'm invested and like I'm interested to continue that series. It's like the God and Monsters series. I think it's really intriguing. I will be continuing with it. I just haven't yet. The one thing I did like about this book is I do think it's truly enemies to lovers in a way that so many books aren't. Like at the beginning, they hated each other like so much. They were enemies. Like they were politically, violently enemies. And then like they kind of have to like work together out of necessity or like, I don't know, forced proximity, whatever. They have something to get out of each other. And then the lust grows and the respect and I was like, I just think that was done really well. The one thing I will say is it was only one narrator and I feel like a fantasy book of this size has the budget for 2 narrators and like I love me a female narrator. I will die on the hill that they're the best, supreme, whatever. But I think part of why I'm not as obsessed or like down bad for this man is maybe because like all of his POV was like a woman in a man's voice and like it was fine, it was good, but like I wasn't swooning over it and like they're like dirty talk in bed or whatever, or like even just pillow talk, like whatever. Anyway, I liked it. I'll continue with it. Oh, and then I read Tender Cruelty, which is Dark Olympus number 9 by Katie Roberts. I really liked it. I've been looking forward to this book for a while. It's the Zeus and Hera story. And I think I gave it 4 stars. It was my favorite in the series in a while, but what it did well was like these couples, like, they're married in a marriage of convenience, and they have been for like a year or two at this point. Like, that happens early in the series. We're on book 9, and like, time is warped in the series. Don't get me started. They've been together a while, and they've been intimate, and they have their own dynamics. And like, this is what I think Ali Hazelwood does so well in novellas, is she always works in a huge backstory. So then by the time you're in it, you're invested, and you can believe that this is like organic, or like that these feelings or have been growing, and then you can just jump in at the juicy part. And they did that, and like, their attachment to each other is a struggle, and like, they have so many internal battles, and like, they have their own motivations for things. I just thought it was done really well, and like, I thought he was hot. Getting Zeus down bad for you. Then I read Mate by Ali Hazelwood. Okay, so I hadn't read it yet for Bound, but like, I knew the lore of her vampire with a Y world, and so whatever. Mate was good. I gave it 4 stars. I liked it. I didn't love it, but I enjoyed it the whole time. I couldn't stop listening to it. I literally listened to it in a day. I started it on January 30th, and I finished it on January 31st. I moved on February 1st, so like, this was like major like cleaning, packing, moving, tossing, whatever, purging. Purging things and garbage, not like my guts. That was weird. I don't know why I specified that. But I was enthralled from beginning to end, and down bad for the fated mates couple. If there is a trope I love, it's fated mates. I don't know why. It is what it is. I just love that, like, you're destined and like, you are someone's perfect match like that. So like, Ali Hazelwood, in her books, a lot of times there's like an evil guy, and like, you can kind of tell from the beginning who that's gonna be. It's like the nice guy, like, butting up to the heroine, and then he like turns into this like melodramatic like Scooby-Doo villain, and it's like, girl. That wasn't the case here. This time it was pretty obvious who the villain was, because that's the point of the book. And then it was good, and like, it was a little melodramatic, but like, it fit the vibe of a vampire werewolf war. So I was in and the duet narration, Chef's Kiss. So then the first book I read in February was an historical romance, and that one I gave 3.75, and it's No Good Duke Goes Unpunished by Sarah MacLean. Oh wait, I just remembered this one. Okay. I did love this. It actually, like, it really ties in well to Bridgerton. Like, there's like a masked element and like an unknown girl. There were some stubbornness and miscommunications or misunderstandings that I think didn't make it perfect, but I really enjoyed the world and like the complexities and like the full acknowledgement of how men and women are treated differently and suffer severely different consequences for the same actions, or for lesser and more, like, you know what I mean? Like, she can do less and be treated worse than if he does worse, he's not treated as badly, poorly. She's very determined to have full agency of her life and like to control what she can, because she is in such a world where women don't get that control. So this is number 3 in the Rules of Scoundrels series, and I don't think I've read any other books in that series. But I think maybe it overlaps with some of her other ones, because I feel like I recognize some characters. The other ones in that series I'm going to go back and read are A Rogue by Any Other Name, One Good Earl Deserves a Lover, okay, and then the 4th is Never Judge a Lady by Her Cover. And that cover actually does look so good. I know I've borrowed it from Libby before, I've just not gotten to it. It might be my new favorite, Sarah MacLean. I know I've read other ones of hers that I loved, but the only ones that come to mind are the Bare Knuckle Boxers. Is that it? She did those. And then she also did another series that I liked, but whatever. Anyway, then back on my romantic-y bullshit, I did another, I think this might be a God tier for Nancy. If not, it was a strong recommend by Nancy, and it was Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent, and I loved it. I think this is my new favorite series. If you have read Throne of Glass and you know who the character Lysandra is, and you are a Lysandra stan, I think this book is for you. If you wish she got her own spin-off series and we got to see her from the bottom to the top, Aelin style, and like sacrifice and fight for a better world. Ugh. The love interest in this is so much better than her love interest in Throne of Glass. I said what I said. There are a few SJM men who I find overrated, and he's one of them. Whatever. I think Lysandra deserves better than him, and I'm not saying he can't be that for someone else, but not for her. Come on, dude. Ew. And I feel the same way about Rune Dannon and his love interest in Crescent City. I said it. Anyway, this book is great. I enjoyed it. I'm excited. I will say I have since started finally, like a month later, I went back and started the audiobook for the second book. And it kind of drags. They like add a third POV of someone who we've never met before. So that threw me for a loop. And then now I'm struggling. Like it's a little slow and boring. I think this is one I maybe would have, if I was in a slump, I could read with my eyeballs, because fantasy books that I read with my eyeballs, I get so much more oomph out of, but whatever. Then I read Much Ado About You by Eloisa James. We love Eloisa James on this channel. Her government name is Mary Bly. Her father is the poet Robert Bly. And if you've read, well, you should read all Taylor Swift or Gracie Abrams lyrics. But in Us, Robert Bly on your nightstand, how ironic. Robert Bly on my nightstand is from you, how ironic.
How ironic. How gifts from you. How ironic. And then
whatever.
yeah, da 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 da.
That's her father. And she did publish a novel called Lizzie and Dante under Mary Bly. It's a contemporary romance, because otherwise she, under Eloisa James, she publishes all historical romance. And it's so good. It's one of my favorite books of all time. But again, right person, not enough time is one of my favorite tropes. So if it's not for you, it's not for you. Much Ado About You, I gave 4 stars. I really liked it. It was inspired by, A Rose Grows or something. Louisa May Alcott wrote a sequel to Little Women called The Rose Garden. Let me just Google it. I have my computer right here. Rose in Bloom. So I guess there's a lot of sequels to Little Women, which I didn't know, but it makes sense because Little Women was originally a serial, right? She just put out a little story a month or whatever in a periodical. That's why it kind of drags and has so many random things, but it's so good. I love Little Women so much. Rose in Bloom is one of Louisa May Alcott's sequels to Little Women, and that is an inspiration for Eloisa James for Much Ado About You, and this is the first in a series. And so this one's a little convoluted because they introduce so many characters, because it's based on a Little Women world. All these characters and their interactions with each other matter, and so it's not as strictly focused on the primary couple as historical romances typically are, even in interconnected standalones. But that being said, I enjoyed it. I had fun. I liked the different relationships with the sisters and the men and the mothers. And anyway, I gave 4 stars. I'm going to continue the series. Eloisa James, I think she's literally an English professor. So she knows her shit. I listened to 2 more Jasmine Moss novels. She's the one that writes the Cruel Schiffer series. So she also has a series called Villains of Lore. Spicy, fantasy, mythology, whatever. So the first book is called Blood of Hercules, which is kind of a spoiler for the book, but whatever. And then the second one is called Bonds of Hercules. And I liked them. I gave the first one 3.5 stars and the second one 3 stars. So the premise of this is there's this girl, she's a human. It's a dystopian future world where so Greek mythology, we think it's in the past, right? But it's been going on forever. They just rule the world now. So now it's the Titans clash, whatever. I don't know. I'm not a mythology girly. I'm just Greek. In both senses of the word. Hey, that was weird. Greek mythology takes over, whatever. She's a human. She gets her blood drawn on a Scantron test. I think literally she's it's on Scantron. Jasmine Moss's books are weird, but weird in a way that I like. They're topical, and sometimes the TikTok talk gets too much, but a lot of times I'm okay with it. I think that was another issue with the second Psycho Shifters book. She girl bossed too hard. Anyway, this one basically put in the gladiator games. She somehow has mythological blood. I don't remember what they are. Of course, then all these powerful men are in love with her, but they hate her. Everyone thinks she just talks to herself because she doesn't know that she's a parcel tongue. Whatever. I enjoyed it. And then the second book, it takes so long to get to the spice. And then this one, they have these new gladiator games, just so Zeus. This is not the fun Katie Roberts Zeus. This is evil Zeus. Oh my god, there's a U-Haul. Do we think our neighbors are coming? Oh my god, no, it's an Amazon driver. Okay, they're coming to the door now though, so I'm gonna have to smile. the point of the story is there's a lot of cruelty just like to show power, and I don't like it. And then there's torturing after the cruelty, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm supposed to think you guys are heroes, and you're just gonna lay down and take it. Like, this is so icky. Like, have this be glossed over and like be the trauma that you're overcoming. Like, don't make me watch it. Like, I'm just watching you suffer for no reason, and like all these powerful people are saying this is wrong, but then like not doing anything about it. I'll probably continue with the series, but I have lost a lot of interest in it. Also, like, where they're going with the third book, crazy. Then I listened to Dom-Com, and let me tell you, this book, 4 stars. I had so much fun with it. It is a rom-com, but with a kinky BDSM dom sub like relationship dynamic in it. It's like the Hating Game, but if it was kinkier and like better. Because it becomes a workplace romance, but like they've already met at a kink club. They just hit it off. So, she's a big girl. She's a eldest daughter, people pleaser. It's so good and it's so fun. Like, I laughed out loud. I gasped multiple times. I had so much fun. Giggle, squeal, kick my legs. Boom. Don't ask me the characters' names. I've moved on, but that was a solid 4 star. Easy recommend if you want like a light and fluffy, kinky romance. That's like actually fun. Then I went straight from that to Muscles and Monsters, which is a novella. The ads got me. I finally just went and listened to it. It was available at the library. I was like, ooh, let me continue with my curvy girl romances. It was fine. It was a novella. I gave it 3 stars. It was fun. It's a novella, so it was insta love in a way that I really didn't like. The guy gave me the ick. I don't know. It didn't do it for me. It was fun. If you want like a sweet, she's a baker, spicy because it's smutty, little monster novella, that one's for you. It was hard coming off of my high of Dom-Com. So then for the family book club, we read Project Hail Mary. So I listened to it and I was enjoying it so much that I was like, okay, I told my family they had to listen to it so then we can go see it in IMAX together. We can probably discuss it. I'm so bummed we missed it in IMAX because some stupid cartoon Mario is there now. It's fine. We're going tomorrow to the movies. I literally, when I went to check out, it was 3 senior citizen tickets and 1 adult, and I was just like, oh my god, what is my life? My mom does not like that 60 is considered senior. I said, oh, do you want me to pay the extra $1.50? And she was like, no. Everyone and their mother has told you to read this book for years, and guess what? They were right. I was wrong. I was stubborn. I wasn't wrong. I knew I'd like it. I just like couldn't get in the mood for it, and then it took this movie and like everyone finally picking it up again. I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. I loved it. I ate it up. I couldn't stop listening. I needle pointed so many projects because I didn't want to stop listening. Melly got more walks because I was like, I need to have my headphones on. But the way they did like the memories with the flashbacks, it was just so brilliant. And like the way they did the science, I enjoyed it. And I hate science. I love science. I respect science. People need to believe science. I just don't like doing science. I think we all have our gifts, and I thank God that there are people that are gifted and interested in science because I am not one of them. Like literally since 2nd grade when we learned about matter and I couldn't understand what it was. It's been downhill since then. I now know what matter is, but you got to admit that is a really abstract concept to grasp. Like literally this is matter, right? Like the air, is gas? Gas doesn't matter. The 3 forms of state, like solid, liquid, gas. It's confusing, right? And then I guess vacuum. You know what? They didn't teach us about it. They should have taught us that, and then we would have understood. But does the vacuum get rid of matter? I should know from this book. Based on this book, I would think it does. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I think I cried. It put me in bad mood sometimes because of the oomph. I was that invested. And yeah, 5 stars. I could picture Ryan Gosling as the part, but I can't imagine his voice being, part of it's because the narrator was so good, but another is like I can imagine maybe his like, you know, silly voice being like when he's teaching middle school science, but I can't imagine it like in space and in meetings. Like I think this guy's goofy, but like a different goofy than Ryan. Then I did the Best Picture showcase 2 weekends in a row at AMC where you get to see all the Best Picture nominations. And this was the first year that they had the streamers, so like it really was all 10. I saw F1 the movie. I've never watched F1. I've never watched any of those docuseries or other scripted series about it. I know it's like a huge thing, but I just like it's not for me. I'm not a NASCAR girly. I'm not zoom motherfucker. I don't know. Vroom vroom. Is that better than zoom zoom? Zoom zoom zoom. So then I finally, like, I've always wanted to read the Dirty Air series. I was like, you know what, let me do it. Let me get the audiobooks from the library, and they were randomly available. And I'm so glad I did because, like, Everything you learn from the movie makes Throttled so much easier. So the first one's Throttled, the second one's Collided, the third one's Wrecked, and the fourth one's Redeemed. 1 and 2, I finished in March. I finished number 3 this week, but that was already April. I gave Throttled 3 stars and I gave Collided 2.5. Again, when like the guy gives me the ick, he gives me the ick. Both of these guys at different points gave me the ick. In Throttled, he's like the number one reason. The hot shot McGee. He's 30, I think. And then Maya is a 22-year-old, I think, because she just graduated college. And her brother just signed on to his team. Bendetti, whatever. Her brother just signed on to his team. So they're now the two racers. She graduated. She doesn't really have a job lined up. And she's going to travel with him and like figure out her life. But then she starts a vlog and it takes off. And like, was that an inspiration for what you're watching now? Maybe. Blame Lauren Asher, not me. Asshole, entitled prick. 30-year-old, like, seeing the light because of a 22-year-old. It was kind of icky for me. He's 30 years old and literally has $350 million to his name. It's like, I don't understand why you don't have boundaries. I started to feel bad for him. I'm like, why? He's a piece of shit. Towards the end, like, when he purposely wants to make himself better for her, he goes out of his way to do this, like, intense round of therapy. A lot of these things that, like, were bothering me, at least he, like, had the self-awareness to realize some of these things are in his control. There's no third act breakup. And then the next book I was even more excited for. So the second book takes place at the same time as the first one. I'm doing a reading vlog of this, so you'll see that book. That's Liam and Sophie. Again, like a 29-year-old and a 21-year-old. They met literally the day she turned 18 and he was into her, and I was like, that's a high schooler. It's good. I liked it. A lot of the complaints online are that she's a pick-me. But I think he sees her like that more than she sees herself like that. He's so like, she's not like other girls. She's not that much like that. So I think it's unfair to call her that. He's a bit of a putz. Like, it has a whole plot line, like, conflict with his agent that's like so obvious, and it's very similar to Mile High by Liz Tomforty. There on my shelf. I don't know if you can see it. Anyway, that's one of my favorite books of all time, and that conflict was so stupid and I hated it. But then after, I just like kept thinking about the couple and how much I loved it, and so that's why like retroactively it became a 5-star, just because of how much I love it and think about it, and I'm able to forget that bullshit. Whereas in this one, all I can think about is that bullshit. I don't love the couple enough for the characters. Those are the 21 books I read in Q1 of 2026. My dad did remind me that this means I'm not on track for a 3-digit goal, and especially if I start grad school in the fall. Let me know if you read any of these books. What's been your favorite book of the year? If you had any least favorites. Next time maybe I'll include my DNFs. That's my life. Bye. Like and subscribe, right? Isn't that what I say? I'm new to this. I really don't know what I'm doing. This is gonna be really annoying to edit. Love you, bye.